If you're here in this video, it's because you probably run a B2B SaaS and you want to know how to run Meta ads for a B2B SaaS correctly in 2026. Meta ads changed, and in this video, I'm gonna break down the right way to do it right now and the ways that we're gonna make you profitable in this platform, right? So stay with me until the end of this video, because in this video, you're gonna see the full playbook you need to use before wasting more money, okay? If you run a B2B SaaS and you think Meta ads doesn't work for B2B, I want you to watch this, because maybe Meta is not the problem, and probably not is. Maybe the way you are using Meta is actually the problem. Let me explain. I'm not saying this to defend Meta, to be honest. Meta doesn't pay me at all. Like, I actually pay Meta a lot every month. I'm saying this because I see founders judge the channel too fast, and that happens a lot. They launch a campaign, get cheap leads, the sales team says the leads are bad, and then everyone says Meta doesn't work for our market, and that's not true. Most of the time, the real problem is actually not the channel. The problem is the system around the channel, right? Your offer, the creative, the targeting signals, the landing page, the follow-up, the conversion event, and the way you measure your quality, okay? In this video, I want to open the whole playbook, not just use broad targeting. That's not gonna help you. Not just make better creatives. The full thing I would think about if I had to make Meta ads work for B2B SaaS. And honestly, I've made it before. Who is this for? This is for a B2B SaaS founder and B2B business owners who are trying to acquire real customers with Meta. CRM, HR softwares, SEO tools, compliance AI, RevOps, financial tools, support software, marketing platforms, whatever, any software platform that's B2B. Not media buyers here looking for a secret button. It won't work. There is no secret button. If there was, someone would already have sold it in a 17 course already. Okay? Why you should listen to me? I run Venture Compass. We help SaaS and app companies with paid acquisition, funnels, creative strategy, and growth systems. So I don't look only at meta metrics. I care about what happens after the click, okay? Some proof here. I helped an enterprise level software get 80 MQLs per month at $232. I helped the financial SaaS launch and make 1.2 million in revenue in 14 days after launch with a 20,000 USD investment in paid ads. And I helped the PLG SaaS be profitable by month 1, running ads and getting purchases at $25, okay? And for Venture Compass itself, my own agents, we generate qualified booked sales calls around $40 per call, and you can get the same if you follow the same strategy that I'm showing here, right? So this is not theory from a Twitter thread or a YouTube video that I learned. This is what I learned by looking at ads, funnels, leads, sales calls, and revenue, okay? Here's the first thing you need to understand. Meta ads is not only a media buying game anymore. It's a signal game. Meta is looking at your creative and copy, your landing page, your conversion event, your pixel data, your CRM feedback, your post-click behavior. All of that will teach Meta who to find, okay? So it's not targeting anymore. It's all of these signals that we're gonna tell Meta who they want to show your ads, okay? So if your inputs are weak, Meta will learn weak things as well. If your ad is generic, your page is generic, your offer is generic, and your conversion event is shallow, don't expect the algorithm will become a genius on your behalf, okay? So the algorithm of Meta Andromeda, is crazy right now, but you need to create great ads, pages that are not generic, offers that are not generic, and give Meta the right conversion events, right? The old question was, what audience should I target? The better question now is, what signals I'm giving to Meta so it can understand the buyer that I want to acquire, okay? This is the foundation of the whole playbook here for B2B SaaS. You don't want to win by hiding inside Ads Manager, right? You win by making the buyer, the job they are trying to do, the pain, the offer, and the next step extremely clear, right? You need to understand that. You want to show everything to him so they know exactly what to do. And this changes depending on the software you sell. okay? Step 1 here, choose the right conversion event. That's the most important one. This sounds basic, but it matters a lot. If you optimize for traffic or just leads, Meta will find people who click or fill forms, basically. Not people who buy, not people who book, not people who become opportunities, people who click and just fill forms, right? So think about that. You want more leads, right? You tell Meta, I want more leads. And you tell Meta, I want the cheapest leads possible. What Meta we're gonna give you? The cheapest leads possible. So if in your page, in your funnel, you get leads, and for you, any lead is like any other lead, right? You're not qualifying your ICP before they turn into leads. You're telling to Meta that everyone is a lead, right? But Meta doesn't know if they are qualified or not. They could be broken guys, or they could be very rich guys. Think about that. You're trying to acquire a construction company, right? But you usually work with construction companies with more than 100 investments all around the world. If you're getting leads for construction companies, and you get there for you get a lead that only have 2 investments right now, they are just starting out, they won't have the money to pay for your solution, right? Because that's not your ICP. So you're telling Meta that this guy with 2 construction sites is the same as the one with hundreds of construction sites. So which one's cheaper? The one with 2 construction sites. So you think that's a bad lead, and Meta is giving you only bad leads, but it's not true. It's because you're giving them the wrong the wrong signals of what's a good lead or not. Okay? And people who click are not always people with money, as I said. Sometimes they are just bored or curious, and yeah, welcome to the internet. For B2B SaaS, you usually want to optimize toward a real business action. Lead, demo booked, qualified forms submitted, trial started, activation event, and opportunity created. The closer your event is to real value, the better. So what you want? You don't want leads, bro. You want sales, right? You want trials, you want something that matters more than a lead, right? But here, there is a balance, right? It really depends on how much the event costs for you and how much you have as a budget. If the event is too deep and you don't have enough volume, Meta has no data to learn from. So early on, I would not try to be fancy here. Start with the closest event that gets enough volume, right? And what's a good volume for Meta? It's usually about 30 conversions, right? At least 30 conversions per week or per month, okay? Then improve the quality of the event over time, and that is the game. Step 2, do not overcomplicate it, targeting at the beginning. For many B2B SaaS campaigns, I would start broader than most founders feel comfortable with. Location, age, maybe basic exclusions if you need to, and then let the creative do more of the work, right? As I said, Meta's changed and targeting is not important anymore. Broad targeting doesn't mean broad message. This is why and where people get it wrong. They go broad in the audience and also broad in the creative, and that's where they are making it completely wrong. They get random leads and act surprised because they are doing broad messaging as well, right? So again, broad targeting plus a vague creative will give you random attention, random leads, random results. But if you have a specific creative, a very specific creative for your audience, you give the right buyer to self-select themselves, okay? If your ad says grow your business faster, that could be for a CRM, a hiring tool, a SEO platform, a AI compliance product, or someone selling candles on Shopify, right? Like a CRM can help a business grow faster, a SEO platform the same. You're not being specific here. Meta has no strong context here, so they cannot know if this person is actually able and wanting to buy a CRM, right? Or a SEO platform, or any solution that your software solves. And the founder watching also has no reason to care about it. But if you make it specific to the category, everything changes. For CRM, it could be for sales teams losing deals because follow-up is messy. For HR softwares, for HR teams, it's still chasing approvals in spreadsheets. For compliance AI, for legal teams, reviewing AI risk manually, right? You can also be a little bit stronger here, a little bit more aggressive, right? For sales teams with more than hundreds of MQLs produced per month, losing deals because follow-up is messy, right? When you do that, you are actually qualifying more the size of the companies that you want to work with. And what happens now, Meta gets the context and already know who are the people that work in bigger companies that will convert or not, right? And you also need to improve your funnel to be qualifying the leads there as well, not only the ad, right? This is why I say the creative is part of the targeting now. Not because audience settings don't matter at all, they actually do, but the creative gives the algorithm and the buyer the whole context that they need to make a decision. Step 3, build creatives around buyer situations, not just the features, okay? No one cares about your features. Your buyers doesn't wake up thinking, I need an AI-powered platform with seamless integrations. They don't really care about it. Nobody wakes up like that. They wake up thinking about the operational problem your software is supposed to fix to them or a desired outcome they are looking for, right? And this problem changes by category. So examples here again, CRM, missed follow-ups, messy pipeline, or reps forgetting next steps, follow-ups, right? HR software, slow hiring, manual onboarding, or managers not approving things on time. SEO software, teams publishing content but not knowing what's driving revenue. Right? More examples here. The point is not using my example. The point is translate it to your software into the buyer's daily problem, right? You probably have a SaaS that solves a different problem. You need to translate it to your business. If you're too vague, save time with AI, it won't work. If you say something real, approve onboarding tasks before the new hire starts, stop losing warm deals because nobody follows up, or review AI risk without waiting 3 weeks for legal, that makes the difference, right? The wrong person should feel in the ads, not for me. And that's good because that's actually not the problem. You're filtering your audience. And if your ad is for every B2B company, it's probably too weak for the one you actually want to acquire. Okay, let's say if you have a CRM business and you want to acquire any business, it's not gonna be as strong if you're talking with construction companies, right? CRM for construction companies is different than CRM for any business, right? When you go specific, you solve a real problem from a real sector. You can talk their language and understand better what makes them wake up and what are their real desired outcome, right? And mid-video pause here, if it already makes sense, I can map exactly how I would grow your SaaS with paid ads in a 30-minute call. Click on the link in the description if you are interested. Let's continue. Step 4, test more creative angles than you feel comfortable testing. Most founders do not test enough, and that's a problem. They test 3 ads, one gets a bit bad CPL, and they start acting like the market send them a final answer from God, right? You need to test, bro. 3 ads is not a creative test. A strategy, it's a guess with a budget, okay? I would test angle families, not random topics, and angle families is something like audience call out. You need to call out your audience, right? So who you're talking with, right? You need to pain mural, basically saying, hey, this is your pain, look at your pain, right? You're solving with this, you need to solve this problem right now. So you increase the pain and then you show the solution. Old way versus new way. So the old way to do something and that's the new way, your way, basically. Social proof, that's very important. Use case, how are you gonna use the solution, basically. Founder POV, so POV of a founder. Objection handling, this is more for retargeting. So if you already have a an audience, you're already running ads, you need to do objection handling because they probably have some objection that you can solve in an ad, so it will increase the conversions a lot. And native educational content, right? So something that looks very organic for Instagram or Facebook. Each one gives you a different signal from the market, right? And there are more than 30 angles that you can work with. Probably there is a video here that I talk about it in my channel. But the point is not these are the best ad types for every SaaS. That would be stupid, right? A CRM and HR platform and a compliance AI tool should not use the exact same message. The point is to learn what message pulls your right buyer. Which pain makes them stop? Which promise makes them click? Which proof makes them trust? And which offer makes them convert, okay? So you need to think about it, right? If you didn't think about it, stop this video for 1 minute and think about it. Take a notebook and start writing down. Which pain makes my audience stop? Think about one person that you already work with, or someone that you want to work with, right? And you think about these 4 topics and write it down right now, okay? Step 5, start with simple statics before you spend weeks producing fancy videos, right? That's a common mistake. You lose a lot of time doing videos because you think videos will work good. You make corporate videos, and when you put on ads, you see that it doesn't perform. Yeah, maybe it didn't perform because you didn't know the right way to communicate with them. So it's not because the ad platform doesn't work, it's because you didn't know data before. So video looks sexier, I know that. But a simple static ad with the right category specific message can beat a polished video with a vague message, okay? And when you do that, you get data, and that's the most important thing. Meta does not reward effort, it rewards response, right? The algorithm does not care that your video had nice lighting and a cinematic intro. If the message is weak, it is gonna be weak, right? So static ads are actually faster to test. You can test more. Buyer situations, ICP callouts, jobs to be done, offers, proof points, landing page hooks. Then, when you know what works, you turn the winners into videos. So basically right now you can create a lot of static ads to just launch with AI. Right now you can even do the ads with AI and launch it in the same day. Videos take weeks to be recorded, to be scripted, and to be edited. Step 6, when you find a winner, don't worship the ad. Decode the format. A winning ad is not just an ad, it's a pattern. So ask, what was it the buyer role? The use case, the pain, the hook, the proof, the offer, the screenshot, the founder POV, the landing page match, then create controlled variations, right? So the reason why an ad performed pretty good is because a pattern there was making it work pretty good. So what you do now, you replicate it to the new ads that you're gonna launch, right? You double down on this angle, you double down on this hook, or you double down on the ICP, right? Basically. If one CRM ad works around missed follow-ups, test, missed renewals, messy handoffs, forgetting next steps, stay opportunities, reps not updating notes, same pattern, but with a different CRM situation. And after you do that, you understand a little bit more about what they really care about and how they convert more. Okay, this is another example for HR, for manual onboarding, slow approvals, manager reminders, new hire documents, IT access delays, first week experience, right? As you can see here, it's too generic, right? It's like this is some angles and they will still be too generic. You need to make it even less generic. And why this is generic, and I'm showing you something generic, is because I'm showing for HR companies in general, right? But you cannot be a generalistic SaaS. Right now it won't work because if you're a generalistic SaaS, you're basically commodity. And commodities in a place that's too competitive like SaaS and softwares, we're gonna make it much harder to sell. And that's why you're probably not performing with ads or any other strategy that you have for go-to-market, okay? That's how you build a creative system. Not random ad testing, but a system that you actually create by not being generic and actually creating ads and the whole structure that works for yourself, right? So you find the pattern inside your category and expand it. Step 7, make the ad and landing page say this exact same thing. I think this may sound obvious. Some of you maybe don't think so, but a lot of SaaS campaigns die here. And why they die? Because the ad says, stop losing warm deals because follow-up's messy. And then the landing page says, all-in-one platform for modern revenue teams, right? It's not congruence here. There's a plot twist, right? Because they are expecting something and then you show them a lot of different things that's too generic, right? Your landing page needs to be very specific. Here, another example. The page needs to continue the same conversation, the same buyer that you are advertising for, the same pain, the same promise, and the same next step. If the ad talks about onboarding, the page should talk about onboarding. If the ad talks about compliance risk, the page should talk about compliance risk. If the ad talks about CRM follow-up, the page should talk about follow-up. They shouldn't talk about different features, different promises, different pain points. You should talk specifically about solving that specific problem. Basically, that's it. This is one of the biggest secrets. Your best ad headlines are actually market research. Think about that. If you have an ad headline that have a huge CTR and the best cost per click, right now you know that this ad headline is the one that kept more people's eyes, your audience's eyes, right? So right now you have information from the market, the real marketing acting there, that this take is actually worth exploring more. If a message gets the right people to click and convert, test that message on the landing page as well, right? So Meta can become a message testing machine, but only if you use the learnings outside Meta. As improve the landing page improves the calls, test, learn, and repeat, and the call after that improves the creatives, right? So the takes that you take from the calls then improve the creatives. Then you create a loop that will gonna feed itself to you to be improving and scaling the campaigns, right? Step 8, retarget based on objections. Most retargeting is very lazy, and you shouldn't be lazy here, because retargeting is your best way to convert the people that are already warm and just need a small nudge to close, right? Or objection handling. Someone visits the page, does not convert, and then the company shows the same ad again. It won't work. Bro, they saw it already, right? If they did not convert, there's probably a reason. For CRMs, maybe they are worried migration will be painful. For HR software, maybe they are worried managers will not adopt it. Compliance AI, maybe they need security and legal proof. SEO software, maybe they do not trust attribution, right? So how do you know their objections, right? The best way to do it is through calls, right? You ask them in the calls, you're gonna see and you're gonna learn data from that, right? But it's kind of easy to understand, right? Take your notebook again and write what are their main objections. What would make them stop from buying from you, right? And after you do that, you already know what you should be putting in your landing pages and in your ads that would make them move on, right? So in this case, for CRMs, maybe they are worried about migration will be painful. You show them that the migration is pretty easy to do, right? Or what they are losing from not migrate to your CRM right now, basically. So the objection depends on the category again. Your retargeting should answer the next objection. Show proof, show a case study from a similar company, explain return on investment, show implementation, show security, show adoption, offer a tear down, offer a lower friction next step. You need to handle their common objections with your retargeting, okay? So think about it, write down about your specific case and be very specific here because that's how you get leverage from your ads, okay? Do not retarget everyone with the same generic demo ad, okay? Step 9, stop judging Meta only by platform metrics. CTR matters, CPC matters, and CPR and CPL matters a lot. But for B2B SaaS, they are not enough, right? If your sales-led growth, even more. A low CPL can be terrible. I understand that. But also, not every SaaS should judge success only by pipeline. So if your product-led growth, maybe activation matters more, right? So again, not everyone is the same quality of leads, right? So if you're getting starters, they can actually start in the free trial, but sometimes they do not buy, right? So the cost per lead here is not actually important. What's more important is, okay, this kind of guy, this ICP is converting more than this one. So that's the one that I want to get to my trials, because you don't care about trials. You care about activation, right? You care about money in your pockets, basically. HR software, maybe booked demos and employee count fit matter, right? So like for HR software, you don't want to work with small companies, right? Because they won't pay for your solution what's worth it. So a lead that works in a small restaurant is not worth like a lead that a big branch would be worth it, right? So you get the examples here, right? Cheap wrong fit conversions are expensive distractions with a nice dashboard. How do you solve that? You need to measure the business outcome for your model, right? Lead and call quality, pipeline created, opportunity rate, CAC payback, activation and retention, closed won revenue, right? This is where Meta becomes a business channel, not just an ad account, right? So again, when you give the information to Meta, right? You want to give the information that you want more leads, right? But you won't send every lead is the same, right? You're gonna give the information to Meta that actually is important, right? So how do you do that? You can do it through offline conversions. It's a little bit more difficult to do, but if it's your only way to do it, you need to do it. You can do it through CRM events. You could do it from qualified lead stage. And this one, I know how to do it pretty good. I do it inside of my company. It's in your forms, right? You put some steps in your forms that will actually qualify the leads. So you get all the leads. All the leads go to your CRM, goes to your pipeline. But there are some leads that are worthier than others. So you just tell Meta that the leads that you actually want are the real leads, and you remove the ones that are not that worth it, right? You get all the leads, but you don't send this information to Meta. Trial activation. Opportunity data, product qualified accounts, right? The more quality signal you can give to Meta, the better the system can learn and give you the best leads over time, okay? Step 10, do not pause too early. Sometimes founders launch campaigns with a tiny budget, 3 creatives, 2 days of data, and then decide the channel does not work anymore. That's not a test, bro. That's just your anxiety with a dashboard behind it. You need enough budget, enough creative variation, enough time, and a clear definition of success. Before the campaign starts, decide what category-specific message are we testing? What buyer are we trying to attract? What would make us scale? What would make us pause? What would make us change the offer? I saw a lot of B2B SaaS that make, from the same business, they make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they invest $1,000, and they think they're gonna have enough data and enough information if the channel is good or not. They invest $1,000 expecting that one lead we're gonna close and gonna give them hundreds of thousands of dollars lifetime. And that's not how it works, guys. Sorry to say that. You need to invest at least the same amount of money that you want to get. So here's the full playbook. Pick the right conversion event, go broad enough to let Meta learn, make the creative specific to your category and your buyer, test multiple angle families, start with statics to learn faster, clone winning formats inside the category, match the landing page, retarget category specific objections, measure the business outcome that matters, and feed better data back to Meta, right? Take your notebook again and create a checklist with it. If you want help applying it, my schedule is open for serious SaaS operators who want to scale with paid ads. What's more expensive than my services and someone that will actually help you is you trying that and making it not work, right? So first thing is you need to test, bro. If it's not with me, go ahead and do it by yourself. I already have a lot of content here that you can use to apply for yourself. I have free content that you can get in my website as well. You can apply everything by yourself, right? But if you want a shortcut, if you want someone that will think about your business, will help you to create a restful offer for your business and create the ads, create the funnels and everything for you, here is my schedule. You can book it in my website and we talk and start these campaigns right away and start getting you more leads and more pipeline, okay? I hope this video helped. 30 minutes is a lot, the goal this year.